lifestyle, but it's actually entirely wrong. Because after I actually experienced my divorce, planning for the future, retirement and everything, right, it's kind of like out the window.
Okay. So today we're very privileged to have Joanna with us. Joanna is a certified financial planner who shares briefly from her experience, and she's also very passionate about financial security for divorcee women. So thanks Joanna, thanks for joining us. Say hi.
Hello everybody.
Tell us a bit more about yourself. Tell them a bit more about yourself.
Okay, hi Benjamin. Firstly, thank you for inviting me over. Really, it's a pleasure to actually be here. So yes, as Benjamin has very, very warmly introduced, I'm a certified financial planner. So I've been doing this for about 10 years, and I've also been divorced for 10 years, and I'm a single mom of 2 kids.
Yeah, so it's actually a very important topic, I feel, because as I was preparing for this interview, I did some research. I got to do homework one. Okay, so I saw a Straits Times article that was dated 5th May. It actually says that a bigger percentage of married couples are going their separate ways in recent years, especially those who recently tied the knot, and that's according to the Ministry of Social and Family Development's report. And because the ministry actually tracked cohorts of married couples, and it found that among those who wed in 2006, 16% split up before their 10th wedding anniversary. And that's nearly double the 8.7% of the 1987 marriage cohort. So I think it's an important topic that not enough people are talking about. That's why I'm very glad to have you here. And I think it's very brave of you to share your personal experience. Some of these things that we are discussing is based on her personal experience. So for sure, they are not to be taken as financial or legal advice. That's one. And like she said, everyone's situation may be different. So if you need expert help, you need specialist help, whether it's for counseling, financial or legal advice, please approach right professionals, approach licensed professionals, right?
Yeah, and I think that it's actually very important that we actually approach the right people for the right job. Because if you feel like, your mental state or emotional state is actually really being affected, I think that one's really, really very important, because that's kind of like the foundation of everything, even for finances, because you cannot actually plan for yourself logically or rightfully if you are in a very stressful kind of like emotional state.
Today a woman is undergoing a divorce or just got divorced or going to become a single parent. Can you share a bit what's going on in their mind? Or yeah,
I think for the first thing is even myself, as an advisor, I actually make this mistake, the same mistake as I did for a divorced woman. I wanted to actually help her to plan out her finances and for the future, like say her retirement, her mortgages, calculate her monthly expenses, the kind of lifestyle. But it's actually entirely wrong. Because after I actually experienced my divorce, planning for the future, retirement and everything, right, it's kind of like out the window.
Okay.
When you first get married, right, you get very, especially for me, I get very centered around my spouse and the family unit. So when the one was actually taken away, it kind of like found like, the center of your universe is gone. So you tend to kind of like stumble and things like that. You kind of get very, very lost. So I would say that for people who are going through a divorce or like, whether you have kids or no kids, it's more about thinking about, what's going to happen tomorrow, the day-to-day things, like where will I stay, where am I going to get the money from to pay for the expenses, and then how am I going to juggle, handling work and looking after my kids. So I guess that is how financial planning is actually kind of like unique to divorced women and single mothers.
Yeah, but also having said that, just now when you mentioned, some of them may not sure where the money is going to come from next for tomorrow and all. But shouldn't there be like a division of the matrimonial assets and alimony and child maintenance fee kind of thing? Yeah, shouldn't that be sort of like taken care of?
Kind of. So what happens is, right, again, disclaimer, my personal experience. So we actually go through the entire like divorce proceeding as like everyone else. And then you actually have this thing called like the final judgment. So what you actually have is probably will include things that say if you have kids, they got visitation rights, child maintenance, how much you need to pay, how do you actually pay, or even like alimony. But for my case, right, it was actually kind of like, it was written down there, but it wasn't actually being followed through.
What? Okay, then what happened? Or what's next?
So we can only try to go back to the court to actually, kind of like file for the payments.
Okay.
But it's kind of like a repeated cycle. So probably he will pay for a while, then after that, not make payment anymore.
Okay.
And I think that happens to probably a good portion of divorced women as well. Some might not be really lucky, whereby you actually get, a lump sum kind of thing, or you have, like, say, a very decent ex-spouse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so yes, that can actually happen. So I would actually kind of like advocate to all women out there, it's like whether you're married or single, right? Don't always just depend rely on what's going to be given to you. Because even you can be in a very happy marriage, something can happen to your spouse. And then same thing, you'll be worried for where am I going to stay? Who's going to pay for the mortgages? Where's the money going to come from for expenses? Who's going to look after my kids? So whenever that you have something coming your way, right, always, one very good advice is emergency funds. The one is a must have.
Yeah.
Even if, let's say, today, right, I were to do financial planning for, let's say, a single mom who's actually supposedly to receive, maintenance payments, I will tend to discount the maintenance payments because I find that if we rely on something that's not consistent, it can be quite detrimental to your whole plan. So it really depends on a case-by-case basis. Everyone is actually different. Like I mentioned, again, my experience will not be the same as someone else's. And my ex-spouse is going to be different from your ex-spouse.
Okay, yeah. So I think a very important point to note as well, I think there are processes in place for you to be able to follow up and chase and make sure that the right thing is being done by the ex-spouse. But I think it came to a point in time for you because you're independent, you started earning your own keep and all, and maybe you found that the process wasn't worth the trouble. Yeah, but here I have to say something, okay? As a man, as a guy, I think sometimes marriages, if they don't last forever for whatever reasons, that's very unfortunate. But as a man, I think you should be responsible, right? Especially when there are kids involved. So be a gentleman, be a man, be a responsible father at the very least. Please make sure that you don't let the kids suffer, don't let the ex-spouse suffer. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yay, thanks, Bear. We need more men like you.
Okay. But when it comes to maybe finances specifically or money tips, what are some of the things that are different and what would you advise?
I try to prioritize my income in terms of what needs to be paid first. So even though you only get your salary like once a month, and then some payments they actually come in, let's say maybe in the middle of the month or some ad hoc timings. So you need to be really, really very diligent. You need to prioritize your payments first, so that you can actually create a very structured and stable foundation around you.
So making sure that there's a fixed schedule, a fixed payment, even though they may come at different parts of the month or different time in the month. Okay, what's next?
Correct, because stability is really, really what we actually need. So the second thing is it's back to stability again. So imagine, right, things that say your monthly transport allowance, when you go out and eat, or when you buy groceries, or maybe like kids expenses, those actually fluctuates, right? Utility bills is also one of the things. So I'll give you an example. Let's say my average, right, utility bill every month is between maybe $80 to $100. So what I do is, right, to give myself the kind of stability, so that I can really feel, secure, I take an average, which is like 90, because 80, 100, the average is 90. So every month when I get my salary, I will transfer $90 into the PUB account.
Okay.
So how it helped me is that, sometimes, right, that month, maybe, I don't know, maybe we go to our parents' house a bit more, so we use a little bit less of the utilities, right? Then that month is $80. But I still transfer 90.
Okay.
Then I'll have a surplus of 10. Then maybe the next month, right, it becomes like 100. But I'm still going to transfer 90. But with the fact that I know that I actually got buffer, so I don't feel too bad because it's being catered for. And I don't get the financial strain as well, and I don't get a shock. So I fixed all the irregular payments, right? I
Yep.
made them consistent
Okay.
across the months. And then the good thing is that you can monitor and check.
So, okay, very, very good tips. Any other tips that you may have other than these two?
Yes, have more than one bank account. Okay, so I'll do is that because I'm in a sales role. So if let's say you're somebody that is, you know, you have bonuses or you have like commission and ad hoc payments, right? What is very useful is that you have this second bank account, all the surplus, right? You can actually throw it there.
Okay.
Okay, one thing is you can actually build your emergency funds. And then another thing is that you could actually use it for, you know, maybe like say organizing your kid's birthday party because you have accumulated enough. So that one is really something that you set aside on. Then I'll also set another bank account, which is what I like to call it the happy bank account. Okay, so this one is a bit fun. It's also consistent payments into the bank account. And what it does is, right, it's something that whatever that I put inside, at the end of the year when it accumulates, right, I'm going to spend it guilt-free. So it's kind of like a reward to myself or even my family. So at least I know that, hey, I've been very diligent for the past 12 months. I got something to look forward to reward myself because we never know what's going to happen tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow I'm no longer around. So the happy bank account actually helps me to move forward or got something to look forward to.
Okay, yeah, I think that's very important. Happy bank account, got money, sure happy on.
Yeah.
So let me recap the 3 points, right? Number one is the habit.
Yes.
Yes, make sure you have set aside and pay whatever you need to pay every month on a fixed schedule. Number two, for stability, I think this one is quite interesting based on her experience. She set aside a fixed amount even for like utility bills that may go up and down.
Correct. So I even do it till today.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still doing it.
Sure. So that's good so that she knows that, hey, every month I have to set aside this amount and not, you know, second guess how much do I pay and all that. Yeah. And the third one is to have separate bank accounts for different things. Again, a very disciplined approach for stability, I guess, as well. And even an accounts that happy bank accounts so that she can enjoy, she can have fun with funds that she has purposefully set aside to reward herself.
Yes.
Yeah. So what other words of encouragement do you have maybe for someone who's struggling right now and maybe, you know, on the verge or in the process of becoming a single parent? Yeah. What words of encouragement do you have? Non-financial kind? Yep.
I would say that everyone actually has a different life story. So mine could be my divorce, but it also made me a better and stronger person. One thing is financially independent. I would say career is also actually stable. Both kids are happy and healthy. They have a very, very good relationship with my family members and even my ex-spouse. So I think that's one. So everybody will actually have their own challenges in life. Don't just because you're going through a divorce or you become a single parent and then you feel like, hey, that's it. But instead, right, learn about it and then, you know, make use of, you know, what you can see, how you can actually make it better. And if let's say you're actually in the process of going it through right now, I would just say focus on the emotional and the mental well-being of yourself and your kids, and then take it a day at a time.